Dun-dun-dun. Hey, everybody. Johnny O. Time for some plot hole stuff. How's everybody doing? Let's see who we have here. We've got a couple of peoples in the old chats. Doctor Who says he's number one. Gold medal goes to Doctor Who. Rob Parks, howdy everyone. How you doing? First gun control and now the Chauvin trial. Not exactly shy away from controversy. Not at all. I will not shy away. Super Chat Matt April 2021 says knock knock. Who's there? Skydiver Tanner is. Doctor Who lives in a pineapple under the sea. SpongeBob SquarePants. Angel Gamer, good to see you. Skydiver Tanner again, good to see you. Good to see you. Doctor Who. Rob Parks. Who do we have here? Howdy. Monk Mayfair says greetings from sunny, hot Vancouver Island. Very nice. BM Furball, how you doing, sir? Tony Regime, hello. All right. As we all can tell, we all know why we're here. We all know why we're here. We can read the titles. So that was a very interesting. Let me just do a JL really quick and boom. Anyway, sorry about that. All right, before we start, the reason why I'm a little later than normal is I've got this really cool. Well, I think it's really cool, but I have this new intro thing for all this live stream stuff. And it's not done. And as I look over, I'm starting now, and now it's about to be finished rendering. So I might step away for a second, upload it, and then I'll show it to you. See what you guys were waiting for. I, for one, am joyous, says Skydiver Tanner, and Matt Forrest says, "Yay, no riots." D Rabbit says, "Controversies? Nah, things just need to be addressed." I agree. And see, here's the thing: I want this to be a place where we can address these topics. And have an opinion and be able to express our opinions freely, as long as we're respectful with it. You know what I mean? I don't want people coming in here and name calling, or little light ribbing every now and again is okay, but I don't want people to feel like they're going to be attacked for expressing an opinion that might be different than someone else's. So that's the reason why I want to do these types of things. That's the reason why I host the debates the way that I host the debates. Speaking of which, I've got Crafty Keela looking to debate somebody on the abortion issue. Speaking of hotbed topics and not shying away from controversy. NA, good to see you. So if you would like to debate Crafty Keela in the very touchy, sensitive subject of abortion, do be sure to reach out to me. Send me an email, theplothole1@gmail.com. Can I caress that amazing face hair? Yes, right here. All of it. It's starting to get, it's starting to turn a lot more gray. And, Crafty is against, or Crafty is pro choice. So we're looking for someone who is pro life, although I hate those labels, but that's the easiest way I know how to express it. I feel it was beyond obvious based off the video. I have a cousin who is a police officer, and officers like Chauvin give him a terrible name. And really, that's where we're going to get into that too, because that's a very important point that you bring up, Skydiver. If I were a police officer and saw some of the bullshit, or saw any of the bullshit that goes on, I would, if I'm a good cop, I'm calling these people out. And I understand the why that stuff doesn't get called out at times. Dr. Osiris, hello. You've only missed a couple of minutes, so not very much. I'll think like 2 minutes exactly. No, 4 minutes. You missed 4 minutes. All right, hey, I'm going to step away for 1 second. 1 second. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. I promise. We'll be right back. All right. Sorry about that. All right. Hey, who do we have in? Let's see here. What do we got going on here? 9.6. Oh, what's 9.6? What happened? 9.6, 7. What do we have here? 4, 3, 2, 1, 1. For a second, I thought Johnny said it's lawnmower gray, not a lot more gray. Lawnmower gray is a Texas thing because summertime, there's no water, there's no rain, so shit dries up pretty quick. So yeah, that actually is. Yeah. Pro-life needs to change the name as they lose interest as soon as a baby is born. I agree, Monk Mayfair. That's why I don't like the moniker pro-life. I think it's incorrect. I was gone for a lot more than 1 sec. I'm sorry. Yes, Inquisitor Bacon, the stream is working. I just stepped away for a second. My mistake. I'm uploading this. The reason why I was late, like I said, I was working on this thing, so I'm uploading it. Did you just go and take a shower like team? That is kind of no, because I don't have the I don't have the black toothpaste all over my mouth. At least that's what he's calling it. At least he says it's black toothpaste. Have any of you ever seen this black toothpaste and Team Skeptic in the same room at the same time? Have any of you ever seen the black toothpaste? I'm just saying. I don't know. And damn the Crown Royal. Yeah, toothpaste. The seismic levels when my ex-girlfriend walks. Inquisitor Bacon says, I hope you're having a good night. I am having a good night. I was able to not have to worry about the potential of riots, although I doubt they would have happened in my area. It's possible, but I doubt it would have happened here. But you never know, man. It's one of those things. I have seen black toothpaste. It has activated charcoal in it. Yes, but have you seen the black toothpaste in Team Skeptic's possession? That's what we're asking. Anyway, so I was able to get off early. Well, not early, like 5 minutes. I walked out 5 minutes early. I didn't take a lunch today. Got there super early for inventory, and then we took off, and then here I am. I'm able to hang out with all of you awesome folks. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Scuba Cat, hey, how you doing? Yeah. So this Chauvin verdict got really interesting there for a while because a lot of you know that. I mean, I don't know how many Americans we have in here. I know I've got a couple in there, but I'm sure the rest of you who aren't American know that we kind of have a history for not doing the right thing when it comes to these police officer trials. Let's see here. Angel Gamer said there might be some riots in Uni's area. Oh, yeah, I heard. And this is exactly what we're talking about when it comes to holding police officers accountable. Maybe this right here. And look, before anybody busts my balls about, how difficult of a job that police officers have, I get it. I understand they have an extremely difficult job. I understand that they have a job where they can do everything right and still end up dead. I get that. And they should too. If you are not willing to take that job with that job description, then you shouldn't be a police officer. Unfortunately, because you are supposed to be a law enforcement professional, we do have to hold you to a little bit of a higher standard than we would everyday other person. That's just kind of how it works. That's the way it goes. Right, wrong, or indifferent, that's just the way it is. Mr. Andret, oh my goodness. Ryan, Mr. Andrews says, hey everyone, how you doing? And then we've got Ryan Announce says, yup, America. Professional is the catch. Yeah, you've got to be, you have to hold them to the same type of standards that you would hold someone like me to, right? And I'm not saying that I need to be held to the same standards as police officers. That's not what I'm saying. Don't misunderstand me. But doing what I do, I work in retail. I sell cellular devices. Apparently that's not the hip thing to say. I can't cell phone, mobile phone, whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know what you kids call it nowadays. I sell these things, whatever. Mobile phones, portable phones. I'd show my age. I should stop showing my age right now. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. I've said this so many times before now. Their job description states they'll be put themselves in danger. So when they complain about being put in danger, it winds me up. Yeah, I mean, it's there are many other high risk jobs in the I agree. I agree they are. I agree there are. I'd buy that for $1. I know that one. That movie. Faux Hammer. Oh, hello, Faux Hammer. Good to see you. We don't even know the true numbers of U.S. police killings, but we know is that the U.S. shoot about 33 per 10 million. Germany shoots 1 per 10 million. It says Salvador Ipatillo. Do you say Louisiana? I have family. I'm not too far from Louisiana, about 6 hours away from the border. Not too far. No, not 6 hours. 3 hours, 3.5 hours, give or take. Oh, I thought you sold propane and propane accessories. No, so here's the thing. This is the point that I was trying to make, right? So if you come into my shop and I sign you up for service and get you into something, whatever, and something goes wrong and it was my fault, did you come in all light and whatever and not expect me to fix it and take care of it? Absolutely not. You come in, hey, you made a mistake, and hey, I made a mistake. Let me fix it. Let's fix it. We get it fixed and we move on. So I'm held to the standard of accountability that my job dictates. Police officers need to be held to a similar standard that the standard their job dictates. Craven Mordick, how you doing, sir? Used to live in Baton Rouge. Oh, go down and have me some gator down there, not there, Baton Rouge. That was a terrible Louisiana accent. I'm sorry. Golly, my Cajun needs some work. But yeah, so we have a history of looking the other way or looking for reasons why police officers should get away with the things they did. Let's see. Nah, I'd ask for the manager, says D Rabbits. But D Rabbits, I am the manager, so you would be asking for me. Living the dream. What can I say? Says Crave Mordic. There you go. Like I said, if I had this old lady come in today. She must have been 90. Asked me how I was doing. I said I woke up this morning, so already I'm winning. Angel Gamer says my dad went to college in Longview. That's cool. I'm not too far from Longview either. Been to Longview. I guess I've been through Longview on the way to Louisiana. Something like that. East Texas. It was long time ago. Long time. I must have been, oh geez, maybe 10 years old. It's been a while since I've been east. We used to go to Pennsylvania a lot, visit my mother's side of the family, but I haven't been there in a long time. But yeah. So back to this verdict. I gotta say, did they catch the guy who shot up Boston the other day? I don't know, Rob Parks. I haven't heard. I've been keeping an eye on it. I hope they do. But yeah. Mr. Andret says any day I wake up is a good day. That's true. You know, we have our issues, we have our problems, and sometimes it's okay to complain every now and again. I'm not saying you should just wake up bitching all the time, but every now and again we have legitimate complaints. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with expressing those. All right, let's finish uploading. Let me see if I can get this here. Oh, I hear some footsteps. I heard some footsteps. All right. There's the. There's somebody who's supposed to be in bed.
It's only 9:00.
Yeah, bedtime.
Bedtime's 9:30.
No, bedtime is 9:00.
Do you change it?
You want to make it 8:45?
No.
Okay, then go to bed. I love you, baby.
Love you too.
Yeah. D Rabbit, let's see. Everybody has something. That's true. D says a deep problem you guys have as a whole. I'm number one. You're lower than me henceforth. Yeah, there's a lot of what do you call it? Arrogance there. Yeah. BM Furball says no, it's 10 p.m. So there you go. It's already past your bedtime according to BM Furball. Bedtime at 9. Cruel. Well, it used to be 8, so there we go. I can make it 7:45. Well.
I mean, even if you did, I wouldn't be asleep.
I didn't matter. Go to bed.
Okay.
Oh man, kids, they're great. They are great. And that's not just something I say. I really do. I love these kids. Not because I have to. My 9-year-old goes to bed at 9. Well, my 6-year-old goes to bed at 8. Fohammer says, but Earth is flat, so time zones don't exist. It used to be sundown way back when I was a kid. It wasn't sundown, but it was like half hour after sundown, which really which was cool in the summertime because long days. In wintertime, fucking hell, gotta be in bed at 6 o'clock. I don't want to be in bed. My parents' restaurant was open until 11 p.m. I never slept. Excuse me. I never slept until well after midnight. BM Furball. I tolerate my kids. That's love, isn't it? Yes, it is. And it's weird form. All right. This is what you guys were waiting for. Let me see if I can get this here. Oh, let's see. You guys want to see this? You guys really want to see this? Hang on. Let me know. If you want to see it, I'll play it. If not, I can wait till next time. It's all good. It's all good. Everyone see it? Got one, sure. Okay. My 15 and 13 and 12-year-old don't seem to sleep. I know what you mean. I've got 2 13-year-olds that just, when they go to sleep, they don't want to wake up. Well, that's not true. My 13-year-old daughter, she's really good about, she might stay up a little later than normal, but she'll get up and she'll get up and she's like really responsible when it comes to being on time. All right. You guys want to see it. So this is how the new show is going to start as soon as, like the next time, but here we go. Oh yeah, there it is. And it plays, in the background while we wait for me to actually start that. What do you guys think? Thanks. Yeah. After Effects is Mr. Andrat. Yes, loads and loads of After Effects. Iron Cliff was good shit. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Come on with the full house. Good. Appreciate it. All right, awesome. I'm glad you guys liked it. I've been working on that a little bit. You guys appreciate that. Appreciate the kind word. Chris Durham, yes, it's going to be the opener for the debate and all live stream. Yeah. All right, there we go. But does the intro show how you can pan 7 miles? You must be listening to the awesome debate on Mick Toon's channel. Yes, I know it's MC Toon. I know it's MC Toon. Chris Durham, we got to get together and work on one for your channel. I think it'd be kind of cool to put something together, give you a nice little intro. Mr. Andrew, you like the tunes? That's cool. I got all that stuff from Epidemic Sound. I wish I could say some of those were mine, but they're not. I didn't have the time to write an entire score for it. I mean, I guess I could. I could take the time, but I'm busy. I have to work. Like a chump. I'm kidding. All right, so back to the Chauvin thing. Now, here's the point I was getting to earlier. We were talking about how this country has kind of an issue when it comes to holding police officers accountable for their actions. So it's called MC Donald's or McDonald's. It's called Mick Never Gonna Eat That Shit. That's what it's called. Don't you mean Johnny L. Warren there, Fohammer? Yeah, I work. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. Look, the whole business about I complain about my job every now and again because people are just they blow my mind. Like I just don't understand people sometimes. I don't get it. Like I have an employee today tell me that she's starting another job tomorrow, and the schedule. I was like, come on, man, golly. John, what does it say? From the SOA soundtrack would be killer. I don't really remember Sons of Anarchy because I never got into that show. I just couldn't get into it. I don't know what it was. It just didn't do it for me. But people who watch it love it. They love that show. I don't know. It was just really slow to get started, so I couldn't get into it. What's going on, Commander Darklight? Good to see you. So anyway, we have this issue where I'm you know what? I've been hanging around Brainy Beaver too much. Squirrel. But we have this difficult thing when it comes to holding police officers accountable for their actions. We seem to let them off the hook a lot easier than we would anybody else. Now let's look at this George Floyd situation. What happened a year ago when this thing happened, right? When this whole thing started, when this officer we can say murdered George Floyd. We can say that now because that's exactly what the jury says that he did. So this is not slander, none of that shit. But what would have happened if that would have been me pinning somebody down, my knee in the back of their neck? Even if let's say they were assaulting me, let's say they were coming after me, trying to cause me bodily harm, I would have been put on trial almost immediately. I would have been charged with involuntary manslaughter at the very least, probably murder too, along with, depending on what state I'm in, but murder too would have probably been what they would have got me, what they would have started with. So if I'm going to be held to that standard, why is a police officer not held to that standard simply because he's a police officer or she's a police officer? Why is that not a thing? The second they read guilty for second-degree murder, I was content. Yeah, he really should have. Yeah, second-degree murder. I mean, you can't say it was first because it wasn't premeditated. The officer didn't go there saying, "Hey, I'm going to kill this person." But look how they treated Floyd, just like they treated every other black person who's been killed or person of color who's been publicly by the police officers. All want to sit there and say, well, George Floyd he was a bad person. He was convicted this and he was a convicted that, and this, whatever. What does that have to do with what happened to George Floyd? What does that have to do with what happened to George Floyd? What does it have to do with that traffic stop? What's going on, Tony? Good to see you, sir. It has absolutely nothing to do. What George Floyd had been, found guilty of 15, whatever, however many years ago it was, has nothing to do with that traffic stop. Was George Floyd high of his gourd? Probably. He was probably high. Based on the body cam footage, I would say, yeah, he probably was high. That doesn't matter. Once the officer had him under control, cuffed and on the ground, he should have immediately released his knee from that gentleman's neck. Immediately. He wasn't going anywhere. He was pinned. Who cares? Exactly. Who cares what they were? It doesn't matter what they were. Unless, look, now, there are a lot of people out there that have accused me in the past of just being anti-police officer, and that is not the case. I am very much pro-police, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to allow them to get away with doing stupid or illegal or terrible shit. That's just not going to happen. Shane Sommer says there were 3 cops. Yeah, there were 3 cops. That's true. Why do we need to put a knee in the back of the guy's head to begin with? I can understand, like, in the moment, you know what I mean? In the moment, adrenaline's rushing and you got him pinned. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I get the thought process of how it got there. But why it continued, that's what I don't understand. And there were 2 other police officers who should have said, hey, we got him. Get off of his neck. So those other 2 police officers need to be charged as well. And that may be a little harsh on my part, but I don't give a shit. We need to set an example. Cops, there's a standard that we are going to hold you to, all of you. And if you see other cops doing terrible shit, then you need to step up and tell that cop doing the terrible shit to stop. That you don't want that bullshit around. You don't want to be the good cop that's held to a high standard for another bad cop's actions. There's a reason why we have issues with inner cities and police. Maybe because police are a little too heavy-handed. Maybe because police don't hold themselves accountable for the stuff that they do. Many of us have skeletons in our closet. Doesn't mean we should be killed or suspected counterfeit $20 bill. Innocent until proven guilty, not death because I don't like you. Exactly. And there are 4 cops. So there were 3 other cops. That's correct. That's right. There were 3 other cops who could have stopped what Chauvin was doing. They all 3 of those cops need to be brought up on some sort of charge. Everybody around has to be held accountable. Some people were saying that the civilians that were around should have been held accountable. I can completely understand why the civilians didn't do anything. I wouldn't. I'm already watching somebody murder somebody. These cops have a history of, well, I don't want to, police officers in general have a stigma that could be even a bit of a history. Could the 2 other be held as accessory to the second degree? I don't know. I would have to look. I know they can be charged with some. They could be charged with accessory. Probably, if I'm the DA and I'm going to charge, it's going to be with, I'm going to, that's what DAs do. They pick up every charge they can, throw everything, and whatever sticks. So they probably would be charged with that. One of them at least mentioned shifting Floyd into his side, not nearly enough, but at least it shows that they knew keeping him down was necessary. Yeah, exactly. They knew what they were doing was not cool. And, the whole business, well, hey, they were afraid because of all the people surrounding them. Yeah, but all the people surrounding you because you were fucking killing a guy, period. You stop him. Hey, counterfeit $20 bill. You whatever you got to do for that. I mean, I don't even think that's I guess it is a felony offense, but you have to be able to prove that he's the one who made the counterfeit 20. I mean, there have been people, I've been in possession of counterfeit bills before. And, if I call the police and say, hey, somebody up here gave me a counterfeit bill, they're going to come up there fucking guns blazing. And no, they're going to come collect the evidence from me and start an investigation, even if they catch the person with a $20 counterfeit bill. It's incidents like this that encourage First Amendment frauditors. They are hoping to get video footage and they can sell it to the news agencies. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I don't really go too hard on First Amendment frauditors, because I can understand. Again, I understand the why. I don't always agree with them. I think there's some shit that's just stupid. Like, come on, guys, you gotta have something. You gotta have other things better to do with your time. Right. Cokehead was allegedly the other officer's superior. Oh, Chodehead. Sorry. Need new glasses. Chodehead was allegedly the other officer. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure Chauvin was the supervisor on duty, which that's kind of frightening. I do have to rephrase: a knee high on the back is a proper position, not directly on the neck. Absolutely. And had they done even still, once he is under control, he's cuffed, he's pinned. You don't even need the knee to the back anymore. He's down. And I mean, my goodness, you have to prove that he knew it was counterfeit and that he was the one who passed it. Exactly. They took the owner's word for it and then went full force. Right, Angel Gamer. Exactly. I mean, just because if somebody comes in and I say, hey, here's a counterfeit $20 bill that person gave me, can you demonstrate? Can you give me some more evidence than that? I mean, yeah, they're going to stop the person and question them. I have no problem with that. Let's see. You have another comment? Comment above. What was that? Where does it go? Where are you at? The position Floyd was and is a position that is necessary in policing for combative suspects. Once a suspect is handcuffed and under control, you put them in the cruiser, especially with 3. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look, I understand why, and I can understand why they got in that position in the first place. But to stay in that position after he was already pinned, cuffed, detained, he was under arrest, he was under control. You know what I mean? There's no reason to continue to put you don't have to. There was no reason for that. Foot to the neck, knee to the neck, knee to the back. None of that. None of that was necessary. You have 3 other officers. You pick them up and you put them in the cruiser. Period. Stuff like that. Me. But the frauditors aren't going to try to get reform. They are. Yeah, that's what I don't. That's what I don't agree with the frauditors. This is not there for. They're not there because they think they're going to actually get something accomplished. They're other than lining their pockets with money. That's all that shit is. Zachariah Hoover says, "Sorry, I'm late." No, you're right on time. No worries. Yeah, frauditors are. That's why I don't like frauditors. I mean, some of the things that these guys do, I agree with. Right. So here's the thing. I disagree with DUI checkpoints or DWI checkpoints. That those are 100% unconstitutional. Just because I'm out at 2:00 in the morning doesn't give you probable cause that I've been drinking. Period. There's no probable cause. There's no reasonable suspicion. Nothing. Me being out at 3:00 in the morning, 4:00 in the morning, 2:00 in the morning, 11:00 doesn't matter. Drinking yeah, tall cans of water. That's what I'm drinking. But just being out at late, or you're out late. Okay, cool. So are you, officer. Well, I'm doing my job. So am I. Leave me the fuck alone. Do you have any kind of evidence or any kind of reasonable suspicion whatsoever? No. DWI checkpoints are bullshit. That was a big step for all people, though. Someone said Chauvin found guilty. Time to heal. It's not time to heal. It's time to reform. Yeah, it is time to reform. So you agree with the person filming this for 9 minutes plus? Like, I gotta say, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with them filming there for 9+ minutes without trying to help. I can understand why they wouldn't want to help. I mean, it's good. It's good that the person did get that footage because that's ultimately what sent Chauvin to prison. That footage right there. So that's a good thing in this situation. I can understand why you wouldn't want to intervene. PhD Tony says, I disagree. What do you disagree with me there, Tony? I'm curious. But again, I can understand. I can understand why they wouldn't want to. You've already got cops that are highly agitated, and there's not but what was it, 2 years previous with the Castillo case where he was pulled over and murdered in front of or shot. I'm sorry, he was killed. I can't say murdered because it's not. He wasn't found. This is a police officer. This is another reason police officer was found perfectly. Oh, it was good. That was a good shoot. No, it wasn't. It wasn't a good shoot. I didn't necessarily say it was a good shoot. They didn't find any fault with what the cop did, which is one of the reasons why I would have went, hold my phone, keep filming, and rush the cops. Just saying, yeah, no. Again, I understand why people didn't want to do it again because the heightened agitation these police officers were already doing. There's no guarantee you weren't going to get hurt, shot, whatever, beat. You could have been in that same position with another cop on the back of your neck. So I can understand why people didn't want to step in. Someone step in when a cop is killing someone would make me fear I would be killed too. Hard to say what I do. That's yeah, that's a difficult situation to be in. Now there are a lot of people out there that have that kind of training that would just that right there kicks in. I'm going to save this person's life. That was Philandro Castile. Yeah, exactly. And the fucked up thing is Philandro Castile had a concealed and carry. Now I'm not for certain about the concealed and carry in Minnesota. But here in Texas, when you get your concealed and carry, there are rules that you're told you have to follow. Like, for instance, if you get pulled over and you have your weapon on you, you are to inform the police officers that you have your weapon, that you are a concealed and carry, that you have a concealed and carry license, and that you have a weapon in the vehicle. I think it's the same in Minnesota. So all those people who say all you have to do is do what the cops say, there's a perfect example that disproves that bullshit. Because he did everything he was supposed to do. He did everything right, officer. I am a concealed and carry. I have a concealed and carry license, and I have a weapon. I have a weapon in the vehicle. Yes, no, I agree. No, I agree. Yes, he did. No, I know. I'm with you on that. He did. Maybe not the first or second minutes, nor the third, but D Rabbits. I get you. I understand. I would like to think that I would have, at least pushed the cop off the guy's neck. I would have taken the beating by the cops for saving that man's life for certain. Police get over 120 hours of combat training. They get less than 8 hours of situation de-escalation. And that's part of the issue too. Some states have a duty to inform. I will interpret the officer to tell them that and they thank me 9 times out of 10. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, his wife, I don't know if it was his child. It was hers for sure. Obviously, I think it was stepdad. But even still, he was the father figure to that young lady. So yeah, that whole situation was fucked up, and that wasn't the first time an incident like that happened. The police officer asked him for his ID. He said, "All right, sir, I'll have to let you know that I have a concealed and carry, and there's a weapon in the vehicle." He did exactly what he was asked to do by the police officer, and exactly what he was asked to do by the state when he got his concealed handgun license. And he still got shot and died for it. There was another guy in, I think it was South Carolina, where this guy was off to work in the morning, pulls up into the gas station, a police officer pulls right in behind him. Cop gets out, gun drawn, screaming and yelling at this man to get his ID. Now, imagine I think it was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. No, it was light. So it was a little bit later. It could have been 6, 7-ish, but it was early in the morning. You're on your way to work. You pull up into a gas station. You get out your car to get gas, and all of a sudden there's a gun in your face and someone yelling for your ID. I mean, just that right there. I'm startled, as it is. The gentleman goes in to get his ID, and the cop shoots him 3 times in the hip. And the guy says, "You fucking shot me." And the police officer says, "Yeah, because you went in your car." And the guy says, "You told me to get my ID." Now, here's the problem. And people say, well, what if he was going in? Well, he wasn't. He was going in for his wallet, which he was asked to produce. So don't give me that bullshit. And I'm sorry, but again, we talked about accountability. We talked about professionalism. If you as a police officer, your first instinct is to shoot, you are wrong. And I don't care what that makes me. I don't care what people think that makes me. I don't care that if you think that I'm too harshly judging police officers because I've never been in that situation. You're right. I have never been in that situation because I know that's not a situation that I should be in. There's a reason why I'm not a police officer. I couldn't handle that type of stress. That's not something that's me. I know this about myself. So therefore, I know that that's not the position for me to be in. But again, I'm sorry, officers, if your instinct is to shoot first, you are wrong. This guy was getting his ID out of his back pocket and informed the police officer that he had a firearm in the car, as he was instructed to do. This other gentleman was going to his car to get his ID, as he was demanded at gunpoint to do. Both of them ended up shot. One of them ended up dead. Eric Garner was selling loose leaf cigarettes. That's a misdemeanor ticket offense and ends up choked to death. This shit happens over and over and over again. And rarely do we see this type of justice held for the person who commits this heinous act. You couldn't be a police officer with that glorious beard. That's true. I'm not going to keep it long. There we go. Rodney King. Yeah. And here's the thing. I remember the Rodney King. Rodney King incident. It was 92? I was 11, 12 years old, give or take. I remember when that happened, and I remember seeing the footage. Now, Rodney King wasn't, he wasn't the best of people. He wasn't the nicest of people. He did try and fight the police officers, but there was a point in time after he was subdued that the cops, all right, cool, we got you. You're no longer fighting, no longer able to fight. No, they went well beyond that part. They continued to beat him. It was excessive. They should have been held accountable for that being excessive, but they weren't. Let's see here. No. Okay. Zachary Huber, I'm not sinking that point. Yes, I'm not trying to take away. Absolutely. There's a lot of comment. Here's the thing. Civilians killed by law enforcement 2019, Canada 30-ish. In the US, I couldn't even begin to. I have no idea. Don't know. Being a dick isn't a death sentence. Exactly. Exactly. Just because you're an asshole doesn't mean you deserve to die. If that were the case, I would have been dead a long time ago. Oh, good night. Another one. Past the bedtime. You go on now.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night. Use the joke sometime, please.
Mm-hmm. We'll see what happens. The black caretaker who was taking care of his autistic adult client playing with a toy truck in the street. Holy shit. That was the one that pissed me off the most. Because that one happened shortly after the Castile shooting. This dude was this caretaker was on his back, like he was instructed, hands out, feet out, and in no shape or there was no threat, none whatsoever, and he still gets shot, and nothing happens, and the fucking cops. His excuses were, I wasn't shooting at him, I was shooting at the guy playing with a toy truck. That was his excuse. What the fuck? That shit pissed me off to no end. Trayvon Martin. We let a man stalk a 17-year-old child. He is a kid. He's not an adult. He was a big kid. Stalk a 17-year-old child and shoot him. And we let him claim stand your ground. Bullshit. If anything, Trayvon Martin had the right to stand his ground against somebody, an armed assailant, someone who was told by 911 to stop doing what he was doing. Yet he still gets off. Go to bed.
Yeah, I was just telling you that I was in here because Link threw up on my room.
Okay. Good night. Puppy vomits. Puppy vomits. Yeah, exactly. Derek Chauvin got his day in court. How about George Floyd? No, he didn't. And he never will. It's just too many times this happens. All too often we have this discussion. Maybe cops need their guns taken away. I don't know because that's Iron Tusk. That's such a tough one because we've got such an issue with gun violence here, and Skyler says, and yet a kid in Wisconsin walks towards officers holding a gun after shooting 3 people and nothing happens to him. Maybe it's called out of live. And that's another thing. No, negative exponents. I understand that dispatchers can't give lawful orders. No, I get it. I understand. Zimmerman did use stand your ground in his defense. Pretty sure he did. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure you stand your ground in Florida. At least that was brought up quite a bit. Breonna Taylor, there's another perfect example. A woman in her own home playing video games with her nephew gets shot and killed. I just don't understand that. There was another one where the here in Dallas where the this woman officer just got off shift, went to the wrong apartment and murdered a man as he was playing video games. Ten cops fired 100 plus rounds into her house. I don't understand that. They're lucky they didn't shoot that kid. They're lucky. You live an hour south of Wisconsin in the news? Okay. That was at least brought. I know they brought that up as a potential defense, but 3 cops were fired. Yeah, they got fired for that, but there were no charges. And they think that's good enough. No. If cops were not in the mindset that everyone could be armed, maybe they wouldn't be worried that the person they were walking up to might kill them. Yeah, maybe. Those cops can become cops elsewhere. That's true. They can. I don't know how. I don't know if that will happen, if that would happen, because of the way that social media works up. But I don't know. They should have been arrested on site. I'm sorry, but they should have been arrested. Part of the issue is that we have what internal affairs, cops investigating cops. Funny how they never seem to find cops doing anything wrong. And the city or town would hire them. It's possible, man. That's the scary part, man. That is really possible. That is really possible. It's just this whole the system is broken for a certain group of people. Now, let me go ahead and say this. That is not to say that white folk don't get wrongly killed by police officers too. That's not to say, because that does happen. There was an incident in Arizona where a couple were up. I think I don't know if it was an apartment complex, or I think it was an apartment complex. Somebody called in 911 because this couple were up late playing video games. And he called in and said they're having a domestic dispute. And then he calls back to 911 because cops didn't get there fast enough. And he says, well, they could possibly be hitting each other or whatever. Whatever will get you here fast enough. So the guy conflated that there was violence going on. He lied to 911 just so the cops would come faster. This was late at night, 2-3 o'clock in the morning, something like that. Cops get their guns drawn, knock on the door, and announce police. Now, my wife and I, a few years ago, were sitting down watching The Twilight Zone at 2 o'clock in the morning. D Rabbit says, all right, bro, I have to go. Keep digging on this one. You guys in the U.S. need to address this, and you are doing this at the moment. Love you. See you later. Cheers, man. Have a good one. Good to see you here. Lindy Wet Speed, good to see you. Good to see you. So we were up late watching Twilight Zone, and somebody opened this is like 2 o'clock in the morning. I heard the screen door open, and then all of a sudden somebody started beating on our front door. I'm talking beating. So I had her grab all the kids, hide in the back, and I've got a baseball bat ready to bash somebody's fucking skull in just in case. When I got to the door, whoever was there was gone. My wife was called the police, and whatever, they came up and did the thing. But to say I know how this guy felt. And somebody's beating on their door at 1 or 2 o'clock and knocks on the door, and it's unusual. So the guy goes gets his pistol, which he was legally allowed to have. Opens the door. Cops see that he has a firearm. Yell at him to get down. Gun down. The guy is on his way down, putting the gun on the ground on his knees, and they shoot him 6 times in the back and kill him. There was no threat. Yes, there was a gun there. He was putting it down. And the gentleman was white. And come to find out, there was no domestic going on. The two were playing video games. Not but a few hours earlier, this man was watching his daughter graduate. And the police killed him on his doorstep. That's a young lady who's going to live the rest of her life hating the day that she graduated. Because some asshole with a gun took her dad away from her. My son has autism. I genuinely fear for his life at times because of how his autism comes out, how he expresses that, how it affects his ability to interact with people. We have a broken system. It needs to be fixed. You're not allowed to protest in the streets. So you kneel. You're not allowed to do that. So you speak out. You're not allowed to do that. How are we, and quite frankly, how are Black people or people of color supposed to express their grievances without being targeted? Some of you out there don't like Black Lives Matter. I get it. I understand. There's a certain sect of that has been taken away and made to be the villain. When does it end? When do we finally come together as a nation and say, hey, this is a problem? This is a problem. There are many studies that show the racial inequalities when it comes to how police officers deal with people of color, how the justice system deals with people of color. And without getting too deep into those numbers, without getting too deep into that, it disproportionately affects one group of people, one specific group of people, far more than it does another. When those that don't see it as a problem finally see it as actually a problem. Yeah, that's exactly. This is my call to the news media. Stop not covering the white shootings. White people. You always like to say, well, we get shot and harassed by police officers too. Stop being okay with it. Stop making excuses. Well, he was this or he was that, or he shouldn't have done this or he shouldn't have done. Stop making excuses and start holding people to a higher standard. Now, there are good shoots. Not all cops who pull their service pistols and use they're not all bad. Sometimes they are saving their lives, the lives of their partners, the lives of people around them. I get it. Not all shootings are bad. Police need to be retrained and not militarized. Absolutely. People of color are shot at 3 times higher rate. Zachariah Hoover, that's not high enough. That's not high enough. It's more like 6 times the rate. When you're talking about in proportion to how many black people make up about 17% of the population of the United States of America. White people make up about 66.3%. More social workers. Was George Floyd out without a mask during COVID? I don't know. Maybe he needed some goddamn food. Or gas to his car so he can go to work. Because his job or the place he was trying to get a job or whatever. What does it fucking matter? What does it fucking matter why he was out? What does it matter? More social workers. It's absolutely broken. It needs to be addressed immediately. I have so many friends who grew up genuinely fearing there's a huge divide on how. Yeah. Mr. Brian Oblivion, what is your point? What is your fucking point? What is your point? Girlfriend was out in May not wearing a mask while he had COVID. Okay, so because that happened, we just kill this motherfucker? It makes no sense. From what I understand, George Floyd used a fake $20 bill. The police were called and killed him over a fake $20 bill. Yeah. Mr. Brian Oblivion, look, here's the thing. If you're here to troll, go fucking do that somewhere else. Okay? Just fuck off. I don't have time for your stupid shit. You're a fucking idiot. Mods, if he continues to dumb shit, fucking take care of it. I'm not gonna put up with your bullshit. You want to sit there and bash somebody who was murdered, then you can do that somewhere else. This is not the place for you. There's a little bit difference between having a difference of opinion. You're more than welcome to your own opinion. You want to have an opinion on why you think it was a good whatever, that's fine. But to sit there and say this stupid shit, go fuck yourself. You're nothing but a troll. You just go away. Militarization of law enforcement. Yeah, there is a huge why can anybody tell me why a small podunk ass police station in Arkansas needs a fucking tank? Anybody tell me that? Why do they need a tank? Anybody? I'll wait. They don't. Why do everyday average police officers need to walk around carrying tactical rifles? They don't. They don't need tactical rifles. Sorry. Because the Hicks are nuts here. I won't disagree with you. I won't disagree with you. I mean, okay, so you've got So that speaks to part of the issue as well, right? So we spend so much money on defense that we have to give this stuff away. That's where these tanks came from. They were donated from the military to these police departments. Now, it's not like I say tank, but it's not like like an M1 Abrams tank. You know what I mean? But like a battering ram style tank, a small 2-3 person operated tank that not was like a big gun or anything, but usually meant for whatever. It's a catch-22. The more you legalize guns, the more guns you need to police people. Yeah. But so here's the thing: if we stopped a third on our defense spending, we still outspend everybody else by a lot. It's ridiculous how much money we outspend them. They have full-on tanks refurbished with battering ram. Yeah, that's true. SWAT teams have that. Used to be SWAT only would have that type of stuff. Now it's SWAT and regular police departments, and they'll have full body armor. I'm not necessarily against them having full body armor. So that they do need to have some protection, but they have been militarized. Absolutely have been militarized, and that's part of the issue. So if we were to get rid of some of that spending, if we were to take some of that spending and actually put it into things like healthcare, things like education, social services programs, actually give cops. Here's one thing I will say. Yeah, Fred Knotts, that's true. Spend more money than the next 25 countries combined, and 23 of those 25 are our allies. Yeah, that's crazy. But this is what I'll say. So you've got it's not even ranked the 10 most dangerous jobs in the country. Well, there you go. They've been killing folks before. Yeah, that's true. Rob Park's been killing police officers. Yeah. What happened to the peace officer? Now they're no longer peace officers. They're law enforcement agents. Enforcement. But if we were to take that money and put it into education, put it into healthcare, put it into the infrastructure, put it into jobs programs, all that stuff, all of a sudden we greatly reduce the need for police officers, right? If we legalize all drugs, and a lot of people are going to argue with me on that one, but it's been proven to work. If we stop treating addiction as a legal issue and start treating it as a health issue like it should be, then all of a sudden we see addiction rates go down, we see overdose going down, we see usage go down. Amazing how that works. Stop putting people in prison for substance abuse, because it doesn't do anything except bolster their substance abuse. Easiest place a person can get substances in prison. What about using it for minimum livable wages? I agree. Absolutely. I agree. Yes, addiction is a public health issue. Absolutely. It needs to be treated as such. So you do those things. All of a sudden, now we have less burden on police officers, right? Now these people who are addicts have places to go, right? So these places in like France and was it Belgium, Portugal? I think it's Portugal. A couple of places that have legalized all. It's not just a free for all where you can use drugs anywhere. No, they have places that they want you to go. Now, of course, there are going to be people who abuse that system too, but that's going to happen. However, all these places that have done this, they saw their addiction rates go down. They saw their overdoses go down, which was less of a drain on their economy. People say, well, that's just people getting free healthcare. Yeah, okay. I'm okay with that. That's just addicts getting, free, whatever. I don't care. Whatever helps them not die and helps them get over their addiction, or helps them kill themselves with addiction in a safer way for the general public. Let's go there. Prison makes you a better criminal. Yeah. Absolutely. The police solution to drugs here was to get a drug dog to do more arrests. All right, Sabercat TV. I told you to go to bed 50 minutes ago. Silly girl. I've been seeing more reoccurring addiction problems from people who go to prison and don't get any real help. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. When all drugs were legal in the UK had the largest empire in history. I went to prison for drugs. Yeah. Zachary Hooper. What do we got here? Make this work. Like Mitchell Hedberg said, alcoholism is a disease, but it's the only disease you can get yelled at for having. Damn it, Bill, you're an alcoholic. Damn it, Bill, you have lupus. Exactly. Exactly. We don't treat people who have cancer. Well, we do kind of treat them like shit. We cut their insurance off and they can't work, can't pay, so they get to die. Unless you're independently wealthy, then you're going to die. That's sad. But again, there's a lot of things we can do to help reduce the need for officers, right? Police officers have way too much on their plate. This is where I'm going to go to bat for cops. They have way too much on their plate. They're being asked to do way too much. Like that incident where the autistic child, he was an adult, the adult autistic patient and his caregiver, that shouldn't have been, there's no reason there should have been police involvement with that. That should have been social services, whatever, helping this gentleman get this patient back into the hospital. Prison doesn't do rehab. No, they don't, Chris. That's right. They don't do rehab. You know what else we need to do? We need to get rid of privatized prisons. That doesn't do anything except create just a revolving door for prison. Here's the most fucked up thing about the prison system, the privatized prison system. So here in the state of Texas, we have privatized prisons. We have some state prisons, some federal prisons, but the majority of them are privatized. Now, the state came to us and said, hey, the reason why we're going to privatize prisons is because there's going to be less money on the state. We are no longer going to have to foot the bill for whatever. So here's the rub with that. In these contracts that these privatized prisons have, there's a clause that if this prison is not at least a certain percentage, and I want to say it's like 78% full, if they're not at 78% capacity, they're losing money, and the state has to reimburse them for that money. So we're still footing the bill. So what do we do to make sure that we don't foot the bill for that? We put people in prison. We create a system that puts people in prison, that doesn't rehab, that doesn't reform. We want reoffend. That's what we want, because we want people in prison. We need butts in the seats so we don't have to pay as taxpayers so these private places can do all the paying. It's just, this is where the need for more social workers is needed. There are pilot programs in a few cities on the West Coast are having tremendous results. I agree. More social workers, more properly trained social workers. Definitely need that. We've got to have something. Yep, that's one thing we lead all other countries in is prisoners per capita and money spent on defense. Those are the two things we more prisoners per capita than any other country. The prisons produce and most of USA's manufacturers good. Yeah, that's here. And here's another fucked up part about the whole prison thing. So prison populations, you want to know why Texas and New York and Florida are so fucked up when it comes to gerrymandering? Because prison populations count towards the county in which that's why prisons are where they're located. They're strategically put in certain places to make sure that certain counties, usually the ones that have the least populations, that are going to tend to be a little more Republican than they are liberal or Democrat. So those prisoners count towards the population, the voting population for that whatever district they're in. Yet they can't vote. Even when they get out of prison, they can't vote. Even when they serve all their prison time, make amends and serve out everything, should be clean and square, they still don't get to vote. Yet that population counts towards the voting population, towards districting. That's how we're allowed. That's one of the ways we're allowed to gerrymander. Pretty fucked up. Pretty fucked up. You know, for a free country, we sure take away our citizens' freedoms. Doesn't sound that free to me. No, it really isn't. It really isn't. Didn't Florida reinstate? I think Florida may have negative exponents. Let me know. Did Florida reinstate? The last attorney general had almost his portfolio. Oh, wow. In privatized prisons? Jeez. That's great. Isn't that great when you have, and that's another thing. If you're going to be in politics, you need to divest your portfolio. It needs to go blind investments as long as you're going to be a politician. Fuck that. They don't need lots of prisons in other countries because they still have the death sentence. We've got death sentence here. We got fucking Texas has like a fucking fast lane to the chair. We did vote for it and it won. They haven't implemented it yet. Yeah, that sucks. But that was what, 2 years ago? Longer than 2 years. The moment I got my first felony, I wasn't free. Once you have a felony, the cops will go out of the way to find a reason to send you back. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Even here in Cali, there's a death sentence. Yeah, we've got death sentence all over this country. Some places don't. I personally am against it. I think that it's cruel and unusual, and I don't think that we should be in the business of killing people. That's not justice, that's revenge. But I don't think most modern countries have the death penalty. I don't think so either. Who is it Denmark that has that they're, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's Denmark or the Netherlands or some of that, old Viking places, that their prison system is like a community center where you don't, there's no bars. You live in like a 2-bedroom apartment. Excuse me. You live in like a 2-bedroom apartment with another prisoner, and it's your job to keep up, whatever that they teach you skills. You have basic freedoms. You kind of come and go as you please when it comes to this prison. There's a certain area you have to stay in, but Finland. It seems to work. Cost taxpayer more to have someone on death row than a person who's in prison for life. Yeah, I agree. How does it work? You kill someone, you go to prison, you kill 10 people, they send you to Texas where they kill you with a brick. You kill 100,000 people, we go, well done. Yeah, pretty much. Those are called open prisons and are generally used for minor criminals in Nordic countries. Yeah, I think that's what we should be doing. I don't think we should be sending, serial rapists to these types of prisons, but an entire island where they learn to socialize. You can leave during the day and return. See, that just seems, have a 99% reform rate. Seems like it works. One of these days, the youngest first world nation in the world is going to realize that other people have done this shit and they're doing it better than we are. One of these days. In the District of Columbia, Maine, and Vermont, felons never lose their right to vote, even while they're good. Oh, excuse me. Good. They shouldn't lose your right to vote, especially if the people who are making the decisions are directly affecting your life. Jeffrey Epstein went to prison but left for 12 hours a day for business. Just watched an amazing movie on HBO about a black attorney who moved to Alabama after law school. The number of people who are sentenced to death it's crazy. The South is, man, we have a need to kill people in prison in the South. Like I said, here in Texas, we've got a fucking like an express lane. Get them in, get them out, done. Who's to say that a felon doesn't have an opinion? They should be allowed to have an opinion. I don't think that we should completely remove their rights. Yes, they need to make restitution. Yes, they need to make amends for what they've done. But part of going to a penitentiary system, we need to have them rehabbed. They need to be properly rehabbed. When you get out of prison in the States, the odds of you getting a decent job are slim to none. Slim to none. It's not cool. We set people up for failure. We take somebody who's addicted to whatever, put them in prison, have that addiction fed, Don't give them any life skills. Don't give them any social training. Don't give them any job skills. Nothing. And then we release them and put them back out there saying, all right, cool. Now go do your thing. You better find a job and a place to stay, or we're going to be in violation of your parole and we're going to send you back. It's pretty fucked up. It's a weird thing. I don't think a single European country takes away the right to vote unless specifically mandated by the judge for some particularly. Yeah. It's hard enough to get a decent job even if you're. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's all about those Christian values. Yeah. They can't all be Danny Trejo or Charles. Yeah, that's true. They can't. But it seemed to have a lot more Tim the Toolman Taylors, though. Which one? In my opinion, if you rape and kill a 14-year-old girl, you lose all your rights. Yeah, I mean, there are certain things that. Yeah, there are certain things that deserve some harsh, strict punishment. Absolutely. And that's just tough. Those are tough types of like where you draw lines and such. And look, I'm not suggesting that anything I'm saying is easy, but it's very difficult. But where we draw lines on what is acceptable, what isn't acceptable behavior, and what is really unacceptable behavior, that's all tough. I get it. It's very difficult to do. I understand. So. Here in town I live in, when I got out, I tried to get work at the chicken plant, but they had a strict no hire policy for people with drug convictions. Rape, murder, you're good, but not drugs. Yeah, that's the stupidest thing. I don't get it. Because they're afraid you're going to steal. Okay. You're going to steal a chicken. All right. Well, that guy over there is going to kill your fucking head chicken guy. I don't think prisoners can vote in UK, but they can vote after release. That's good. Yeah, but we damn sure shouldn't be giving someone 40 years for slinging weed. Absolutely not. I don't think we should be giving anybody anything for doing any kind of drug crime, but I agree, but most of inmates are not there for that kind of offense. Yeah, most of them aren't either. The amount of rapists we have versus rapists, murderers versus people who are, if we let everybody out of prisons for, everybody who's convicted of felony marijuana offenses, if we let those people out of prison, we're talking about we're talking about ghost towns. Prisons would be ghost towns. So what have we solved today? We solved that the Chauvin verdict was a good verdict, and that we have decided that there's still a lot more work that needs to be done. So what can we do about it? What is it we can do to help facilitate change, progress? Here in my state, too, misdemeanor weed can to a felony charge. Yeah, so stupid. So stupid. What about those people who sell heroin or cocaine? Should they be in prison? Marijuana, yes. No, I don't think anybody who sells any drugs should be. I think that all drugs should be legalized. Which, if you want to do heroin or cocaine, I think that's your business. Who am I to tell you what you can and can't do? Money out of politics. Yep, absolutely. Justice system is set up for failure. Yep. No, negative exposure. The beginning to find the beginning of all the issues with our Justice Department. That is that takes way. That's, man, you're talking just years and years and years and years of research. Is a prison for profit industry the reason pot is illegal in Texas? Probably. Just saying hi, Charlie Welch. Hope you're feeling better. There's also automatic life sentence for a third offense. Yeah, 3 strikes rule is bullshit. Mandatory minimums are bullshit. Yeah. Get rid of the electoral college. At the very least, it needs to be revamped and reformed because it doesn't work right. Not only should there be separation of church and state, but also corporate and state. I agree. I absolutely agree. Money needs to be pulled out of politics. There has to be separation. System of a Down said it well. Yep. Yes, it did. Anyone who started the war on, the person who, okay, so my wife and I were talking about this today, but Nixon probably is the beginning of that, with war on drugs really being hammered in during the Reagan era. Clinton didn't help either. He's the one who got the mandatory minimums put in. So, yeah. Yep. Yeah. Nixon started it and Reagan really hammered it in. Yeah. Yeah. Corporations are people too. Citizens United, that repeal that shit, get rid of that stuff. Anyway. All right. I think it's time for me to go ahead and shut this down. I don't want to make all these, downers. I want to have some, some good times on these with you guys. Reagan did go wild on it. He really did. My goodness. His wife, it was really Nancy, the whole Just Say No program and all that, get the fuck out of here. We're not going to educate people on drugs. We're just going to tell them say no. How well does that work? Hey, kid, just say no. That's what happens. My friend's son just got 10 years for armed robbery to feed his drug habit. $500. 10 years with a toy gun. Jesus Christ. That's crazy. Just Say No. Yeah, that Just Say No program did not work. Anyway, so yeah, I would like to do some more fun stuff. I would like to have Angie Flores. That's absolutely correct. The American dream has turned into the American judgment. Dark Theories, man, congratulations. That's awesome. That's awesome. Oh, hey, we have a new member, Skydiver Tanner. Welcome to the crew. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. So happy to have you along. You too can become a member if you like. You don't have to. Like I said, this is a free channel, but I appreciate all the support that I get. When you become a member, you get some custom emojis. You get this guy here, finger guns, and then you get the fire horns, and then my favorite, you get the Godzilla facepalm. See if it's going to work. It probably just froze up on my end because there we go. Boom. There they go. We do need to speak out on real shit. I agree, Andrew Flora. I mean, we really do. It's good to have these discussions. And again, like I said, I want to have these things in a, in a place where I want people to be able to express their opinions. Now, if you're like that jackass earlier, and you're just coming here to troll for whatever, then fuck off. I don't got time for that. But you want to come in here and express your opinion, I absolutely want to hear it. And I facilitate the honest exchange of ideas. That's important to me because sitting there shouting at each other doesn't get anything accomplished, right? You're wrong. No, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. No, that doesn't work. Hey, here's what I think. Here's what I believe. And this is the reason why I think and believe this because of this, and this. Awesome. Well, here's what I believe, and here's this, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And, an honest exchange of ideas. That's what I want. I want to facilitate that. Gojira. Great band. So if you want to continue that stuff, man, feel free to hang out with me. This is a lot of fun. I enjoy reading your comments. I enjoy reading the chats. You guys are amazing. A lot of fun. So one more time, in case anybody didn't hear, I do need to find somebody to debate Craft Tequila on abortion. I need somebody who is pro-life, even though that I'd hate that moniker. I need somebody on the conservative side of that discussion. Zachariah Hooper says, once we get together, they are fucked. That is absolutely right. All right, Tanner. Good to see you, man. I appreciate it. Oh, there goes Tokyo. Go Godzilla. Man, I used to love watching Godzilla when I was a kid. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. You guys have been awesome. You're amazing. I appreciate you hanging out with me. And like I said, we'll do this every Tuesday. Again, I need somebody for Craft Tequila. So if anybody wants to take that up, you know how I run debates. It's not going to be a railroad. So I know that's not you, JL Warren. You guys would be arguing the same side. You'd be like, yeah, I agree with you, Crafty. Yes, I agree with you. Anyway. Yeah, it really should be pro birth, and after that, fuck them. We don't care about them. Anyway, I'm out of here. I'm Johnny O. It's time for me to go. Aloha, you guys. Be good to each other.